G'day guys and welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be doing my tips for round 7 of the season. Had a ripper week last week, as you can see, 9 out of 9. Don't do that very often at all, but very pleased with that. So looking good the last couple of weeks. I think I got 7, then 9, so like the form I'm in. Let's keep that up. Guys, if you're new to the channel, click that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with all the AFL Tips videos and catch reviews, all the random stuff that is going on with the channel. And without further ado, let's get stuck into this week's games. So some tough ones, 50-50 ones, potential upsets, all sorts of things. But first off, we have St Kilda and Port Adelaide Friday night at Marvel, and this one's going to be a tricky one. I'm going to go Port Adelaide. It's going to be a very close one. I'd never really tip massive margins on these things, but yeah, I've liked what they've done. They've played some pretty tough opposition and yielded some pretty good results. And I feel like they play pretty solid footy at Marvel. Not to say I'm not buying what the Saints are doing and absolutely loving what they're doing at the moment. They definitely did well to scrape back late against the Pies. I don't think they've played a stack of great opposition, but they've just done what they've had to do. I think Port Adelaide at their best will be too strong. Going to be a tough game, but you suspect St Kilda won't really allow Port Adelaide to run and carry. But if Port can get it going in the contest, which they're generally strong at, then good things can happen. That moves us to Saturday. We've got Brisbane and Fremantle. Fremantle haven't been travelling too well. As it's been known, pretty easy to go with Brisbane here. I mean, backs to the wall for Freo, but yeah, Brisbane hardly ever lose the Gabba. I think they've only lost 8 or 9 of the last, I don't know, 50, 60 games there. They hardly lose there. I think they've won 48 of 51 or something ridiculous like that. They don't lose there very often, and Freo aren't travelling well. Moving on to the SCG, we have the Battle of the Bridge. We have the Swans up against the Giants in what's going to be an interesting clash. Massive loss last week to the Swans. You suspect they would bounce back. Could be a bit of a crazy upset, but I'm going to go the Giants. They went all the way with the Lions. They didn't really let them break away, and I think they've been really competitive and just been a bit stiff in some of the games. Might be able to stifle a Sydney outfit that have been, a bit undermanned and sort of out of form. So I'll go GWS just. But could definitely mount a case for Sydney as well. That's what's great about this. We then go to the Western Bulldogs and Hawthorn. I feel like Hawthorn had a really good record over them. Let's have a look at recent history. So the Hawks won, the Bulldogs have definitely won the last couple. In fact, 4 of the last 5. Clearly, Hawthorn in a bit more of a rebuild stage at this point in time. I like the Dogs anyway, irrespective of previous form. Should get the job done at Marvel. The Hawks have been a bit more competitive though, which is positive for them. We have Melbourne and North Melbourne at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. A few Melbournes in there. Melbourne should get it done nicely. A couple of wins early for North, but they've sort of trailed away a little bit. D's looking to flex their muscle. Saturday night game, we have West Coast up against Carlton. A bit of a danger game for the Blues. They just have to get it done. I think they will get it done against seems to be constantly an undermanned Eagles and rebuilding Eagles outfit. Blues to respond. Sunday Arvo game, and boy, this is a tasty one, that's for sure. The Scott brothers are up against each other here. So we've got Essendon and Geelong. Bombers are going to be tough. I think Geelong will win, but yeah, it's going to be a very tough game and definitely not like some of the games we've seen in the past with the defensive mechanisms they've got in place at the moment. Cats sort of getting back on track to some of their better footy, which is good to see for Cats fans. I think they'll be a little bit too good for the Bombers, who may have Laverde out, which could be crucial for Hawke and Cameron if we can win the contest. That's where we've got to win it. Marvel Stadium, we've had some interesting results in the past. I think Gold Coast have pipped them there a couple of times, and they've won the last 2, which is quite interesting indeed. That's definitely a low-scoring game. I feel like they got them very recently at Marvel. Might be that game there, but also it doesn't make sense. It's a home game for Gold Coast. Irrespective of all that, I think Richmond to get the job done. It's going to be a tough game, though. I suspected it should be quite close. Gold Coast a live chance in this one. Final game of the round. Big game. We have Adelaide and Collingwood. This one's at Adelaide Oval. The Pies travel incredibly well, so irrespective of venue, their style of football stacks up. I'm going to go Adelaide because they've been great at home. Didn't quite get the job done against Tigers, but they've been able to, beat some quality opposition and, they look really threatening at home. Their forward line looks great. Their midfield tore the Blues midfield apart. I feel like, their pressure game would be good enough, and being at home helps them a bit more. Remember, last year was a really close game, and I think Adelaide have it was a 5-point game. I feel like the Crows, and they've lost the last 5 at least. So suggests they have a good record, but I feel like the Crows are a lot better than that side that lost by 5 points last time at home, and I suspect that they'll be better this time around for the run. So that's, a couple of upsets in there, which is a little bit unusual, but there's some tough games to pick. Port by 11, Brisbane to win, Giants, Western Bulldogs, Melbourne, Carlton, Geelong, Richmond, and Adelaide. I could have an egg on my face, or I could look like a genius. Who knows? I think it's going to be more in the egg and face piece. But, a few risks in there, that's for sure. But there you go. Guys, hope you enjoyed the tips for this week. Don't forget to chuck yours down in the comment below. We muchly appreciate it. Give the video a like. Would definitely love that as well. Subscribe if you haven't already. And, just appreciate you guys that joined in for the journey. Thanks again for tuning in, guys. I'll see you on the next video.